Imagine stepping into a silent graveyard. Moonlight glinting off a warrior's sword and, beside his coffin, the skeleton of his loyal wolf. These aren't fairy tales. Vikings truly laid their dead to rest, with animals in tow. Mist curls gently over a weathered barrow as its ancient wooden door creaks open, revealing a longboat grave shrouded in shadows and time. The aged timbers groan softly beneath flickering torchlight. Close-ups reveal horse and dog bones meticulously arranged around the human skeleton. Guardians, forever faithful in death. Dragon-headed animal prows, carved from dark wood, loom as silent sentinels, their runes glowing faintly under torchlight. Rune-inscribed grave markers cast shifting shadows on the damp stone. The soft crackle of flame against moist earth, the distant, eerie cry of ravens circling overhead. The metallic, earthy scent of soil disturbed after centuries of silence. Tonight, we unearth the riddles behind Viking burials and discover why animals crossed to the afterlife alongside their humans. Dawn breaks over a wind-swept Baltic shore, where the prow of a longship grave pierces dunes like a slumbering beast awaiting its final voyage. Soft morning light spills across rolling sand dunes and tangled grasses. The ancient timber of the longship creaks faintly as laborers ready the vessel for burial. Phratis, the priestess, her amber beads clinking gently, moves among tethered horses, sprinkling mead in ritual blessing. Her voice rises in a low, haunting chant. Carry these companions across the sea road to Valhalla's fields. Eric the farmer stands solemnly near a shallow pit. His loyal hound Dryfer lies curled inside, ribs showing beneath fur thinned by years of service. Kneeling, Eric presses his cheek to the hound's warm coat, whispering gratitude for unwavering devotion and faithful years. Behind them, heavy hands lift and settle the longship into place, packing its hull with weapons, treasures, and beasts destined to journey alongside their master. A lone horn blasts, echoing across the shore as Phratis sets the funeral pyre alight. Flames climb, casting flickering shadows on Dryfer's bones beside her master's shield. The sharp crackle of burning wood, the salty temps of ocean spray on the breeze. The soft, mournful sobs blending with the rhythm of crashing waves. Cut to black on Phratis's whispered vow. No one travels alone. Today, we honor our pets with manicured cemeteries, quiet gardens of remembrance lined with polished marble headstones, etched delicately with paw prints and engraved names. Lilies and roses bloom in orderly rows, their soft petals offering a gentle farewell. Grieving owners place fresh flowers and personal mementos at resting places, while urns rest in neat niches, preserving the memory of beloved companions. The gentle rustle of leaves in the breeze mingles with the faint, sweet scent of blooming flowers. It is a peaceful, contained, farewell, private moment of closure and love. In these sanctuaries, pets find their last home, embraced by human tenderness and modern rituals of remembrance. Here, loss is met with quiet dignity, a contrast to the wild rites of the past, but no less sincere in its devotion. In stark contrast, Vikings honored their animal companions with grand shipgraves, massive funerary vessels packed with horses, dogs, and treasures, preparing their dead for an epic voyage to the afterlife. These ships, once carriers of war and trade, became sacred vessels, ferrying souls across cosmic seas. The smoldering embers of longship pyres glow dimly, while horse skulls lie half-buried in the sand and dog bones rest reverently at a warrior's feet. The hiss of cooling embers blends with the sharp, smoky scent of burnt wood and leather. filling the air with somber intensity. This farewell was visceral and powerful, a final journey binding animal and human destinies in a shared passage beyond life's horizon. Where modern pet owners choose urns or modest graves, Vikings sent their animals on rune-inscribed burial boats, symbolic vessels carrying souls through the otherworld's mysterious waters. An animated cross-section reveals animals nestled close to warriors inside the longship, runes glowing softly along its weathered sides as the vessel prepares to sail beyond the mortal realm. The creak of wood echoes softly, while shimmering rune light bathes the scene in ethereal glow. This was no mere burial, it was an intertwined destiny, a testament to the profound bond between humans and their animal companions, enduring across realms. Our quiet memorials, tender as they are, feel tame beside Viking rites, where humans and animals embarked together on epic farewells, their souls forever entwined in a journey beyond death. A slow, poignant fade shifts from the peaceful rows of a modern pet cemetery to the glowing embers of a Viking funeral pyre, where firelight dances over ancient timbers and bones alike. The crackling of flames mixes with the gentle fall of flower petals carried by a soft breeze. In the Viking worldview, death was not an end, but a passage taken side by side, an eternal bond transcending the boundaries of life itself. From Oseberg to Gokstad, Viking boat graves reveal more than human remains. They cradle horses, dogs, and ravens resting side by side with warriors and chieftains. These timbered burial ships, uncovered in sacred mounds, show meticulous arrangement of bones, weapons, and treasures, preserving a ritual landscape where animal and human shared the passage to the afterlife. The musty scent of ancient wood and quiet reverence of archaeologists echo the deep respect these cultures held for their companions. As archaeologists explain, these sites reveal a cosmos where humans and animals journeyed together beyond death. Horses bore chieftains to the afterlife, their strength and status carrying leaders into the beyond. Dogs guided souls through shadowed realms, loyal companions ensuring safe passage. Ravens, Odin's messengers, served as psychopomps bridging worlds between the living and the dead. Animations bring to life these spiritual roles. Dogs padding softly beside warriors, ravens soaring silently over battlefields. The whisper of wings and the gentle touch of paws evoke a sacred connection. Ritual anthropologists affirm each species held unique spiritual duties, weaving a rich tapestry of belief. Animals were carefully slaughtered in solemn rites, their bodies positioned alongside weapons and treasures within burial ships. Runic prayers were inscribed to invoke protection and guidance for both human and beast. Close-ups reveal intricate runes etched into bone and wood. Reenactments show ritual slaughter with reverence and precision. The sharp clang of metal mingles with the murmur of chants and the scent of herbs and smoke filling sacred spaces. Saga scholars note, these rites sealed bonds between human and beast, powerful, sacred, eternal. Such ceremonies ensured the animal's spirit journeyed alongside its masters. Viking cosmology envisioned an afterlife shared by humans and animals, reflecting social order, lineage, and nature itself in a cosmic dance. A digital panorama of Yggdrasil shows intertwined branches where spirits of beasts and people mingle. The rustle of leaves and chorus of wildlife echo this living universe. This belief reinforced a world alive with spirit and kinship, reminding us that in their worldview, human and animal destinies were eternally bound. Prepare to step into Viking funerals where animals walked and flew alongside their humans, united forever in legend and spirit. A raven takes flight over a burning ship, while a hound's silhouette fades into misty twilight. Their journeys teach us how deeply intertwined human and animal destinies truly were, legacies written not just in stone, but in soul. A 3D scan of the Gokstad ship grave reveals a solemn tableau. Human remains flanked by 2 horses, their skeletons intertwined in death's embrace within the 23-meter vessel. Rotating imagery highlights the precise spatial relationship of bones, weapons, and treasures laid out with ritual care. The cold silence of ancient timber envelops the scene, evoking reverence for a world long past. As Dr. Freya Lundquist, zoologist, notes, these burials reflect more than status. They speak to spiritual companionship, transcending life. The animals weren't mere cargo, but soul companions, guarding and accompanying their humans on the final voyage, revealing deep bonds that outlasted death itself. At Oseberg, 2 noblewomen rest surrounded by an entourage of oxen, goats, and dogs carefully arranged to accompany them beyond life. Excavations expose ornately constructed burial chambers filled with articulated animal skeletons and precious grave goods. The musty scent of earth mingles with fragments of textile and gleaming metal, evoking the richness of this afterlife procession. Professor Leif Gunvalson explains, these animals symbolized protection, status, and passage. The presence of livestock and dogs illustrates a belief that earthly roles and bonds extended beyond death, weaving a spiritual retinue to guard the departed in their journey through otherworldly realms. Detailed zoological analysis reveals horses buried at their prime age, suggesting ritual sacrifice rather than mere food disposal. Comparative charts highlight stark differences between these ritual deposits and typical herd mortality profiles. The clean, deliberate cut marks on bones indicate skilled butchery performed swiftly to maintain ritual sanctity. The sharp scrape of archaeologists' tools accompanies the crisp break of ancient bone, telling stories of carefully timed ceremonies. Dr. Lundquist observes, sacrifices were deliberately timed for ritual potency, honoring valued animal companions. These patterns demonstrate the importance of these animals not just in life, but as essential participants in death rites that reinforced social and spiritual hierarchies, where patterns and pathologies on horse bones reveal signs of riding and work, indicating these animals lived long alongside humans as partners, not mere beasts of burden. Close-ups reveal worn vertebrae and healed injuries, silent testaments to shared journeys and care. The smooth contours of aged bones contrast with sharp but healed trauma, illustrating enduring relationships. These animals were cherished companions, integral to daily life and identity. As noted by specialists, they were not simply instruments of labor, but loyal allies whose bonds extended beyond utility. The archaeological record thus preserves a nuanced picture of interspecies connection, showing reverence that transcended death and manifested in elaborate burial practices. Close examination of vertebrae with cut marks and the discovery of dogs' throats slit near the jugular reveals precise, respectful methods of ritual slaughter. Slow-motion reenactments depict the swift single strikes designed to ensure a quick death, minimizing suffering and preserving ritual purity. The sharp clang of steel and the solemn stillness following sacrifice underscore the gravity of these acts. Professor Gunvalson explains, ritual killing was both respectful and deliberate, marking the threshold between life and the spiritual journey beyond. This care in method reflects deep spiritual beliefs about animal sacrifice as essential for preparing companions for their role in the afterlife, ensuring honor and protection for both human and beast. Runic stones, found near burial sites, depict scenes of humans handing reins to Valkyries, symbolizing the passage of animal companions to the divine. Detailed close-ups of duck runic stones reveal intricately carved figures, which, through CGI overlays, come alive in procession. The rough texture of ancient stone contrasts with the whisper of voices reciting forgotten prayers. Saga scholars interpret these as vivid expressions of spiritual journeys, with one stating, "Saga tales echo this symbolism. Whoso slays his steed at death feeds Sleipnir as hosts." This imagery underscores the sacred symbiosis of human and animal fate, intertwining earthly bonds with cosmic destinies and enriching our understanding of Viking afterlife beliefs. Chemical analyses of soil samples from burial mounds reveal elevated phosphate levels, a telltale signature of decomposed animal remains alongside humans. Lab footage shows phosphate testing processes and detailed diagrams connecting these chemical traces to specific burial layers. The sterile hum of lab instruments contrasts with the rawness of the findings, bridging past and present. Dr. Lundquist states, "These chemical clues bolster the archaeological story of shared passage. The phosphate-rich soils not only confirm the presence of animals, but also hint at the scale and care of such burials, providing scientific weight to the ritual interpretations and highlighting the integral role of animals in Viking funerary culture." Scanning technology reveals ritual symmetry in bone placement, horses and dogs, arranged as spiritual guards or guides within the burial ships. Overlays of scanned skeletons with annotated highlights demonstrate precise patterns designed to protect and accompany the dead. The echo of footsteps in empty chambers and the whisper of dust disturbed create an atmosphere of solemnity and order. Professor Gunvaldson remarks, "Each bone's place was deliberate an architectural prayer for journey and protection." This choreography of remains emphasizes belief in an ordered afterlife, where animals served as vigilant sentinels, guarding their human companions through the cosmic voyage and reinforcing social structure beyond death. Overlay animations transform scanned animal skeletons into glowing sentinels framing human remains, ethereal light weaving through bone and timber. The faint pulse of illumination pulses like a heartbeat, while a hush of ancient reverence fills the air. This poetic visual underscores the concept of animals as spiritual guardians, guard posts ensuring safe passage beyond. The closing narration reflects, in these graves, humans and beasts embark, united companions, crossing worlds in sacred passage. This final image invites reflection on the profound connections Viking culture forged between species, honoring bonds that transcended mortality and continue to resonate through time. Dawn breaks gently over the chieftain's hall as the village stirs. Warriors don cloaks and lift shields, slinging them across broad shoulders, preparing for the solemn procession ahead. Horses and hounds are tethered and led by bridles, their breath misting in the crisp morning air. The creak of timber blends with the soft snorts of animals and the rustle of cloaks in the chilly breeze. Villagers and kin gather quietly, their faces etched with resolve and grief, uniting in the shared weight of impending loss and honor. This moment marks the beginning of a journey where community, ritual, and respect intertwine, setting the stage for Jarl Eirik's final passage. Jarl Eirik, weathered and worn from years of leadership, draws his final breath in the dim light of his hall. Gunnar, the trusted hunter, gently brings forward Eirik's loyal hound. Driffer, the dog, ribs faint beneath, fur worn thin, settles by the Jarl's head, eyes heavy but filled with unspoken understanding. Gunnar kneels, pressing his cheeks softly against the faithful companion, sharing a silent farewell. The soft rasp of Eirik's breath mingles with the warmth of fur and the quiet sorrow filling the room. In this intimate moment, the bond between man and beast is sealed not just by years of companionship, but now by the inevitability of death, together in life, together in passing. Solveig, the experienced herdmistress, moves with solemn purpose toward the stables. With practiced hands and steady breath, she slits the throats of the horses destined for the voyage beyond. Blood pours into trenches carefully carved for sacred rites, pooling red against the dark earth. In slow motion, blades flash under flickering torchlight, horses shuddering in their final moments. The sharp, metallic scent of blood fills the air, mingling with the earthy dampness of the stable. The heavy thuds of faltering hooves and quiet breaths mark the passage of noble companions. This sacrifice, though heartrending, is essential a rite ensuring the safe passage of Jarl Eirik's soul. His animal guardians crossing into the afterlife alongside him. Freytis, the priestess, steps forward, amber beads clinking softly with each movement. She sprinkles consecrated mead over the lifeless bodies of the hounds and horses, the liquid glistening as it cascades over fur and flesh. Her voice rises in haunting chants, ancient runes weaving through the evening air, calling for guidance and protection on the spirit's journey. The mead's sweet scent mingles with the earthy aroma of the animals and the subtle smoke of nearby incense. Faint, glowing patterns seem to shimmer around the gathered group as the runes come alive in twilight. This consecration is both blessing and shield, a sacred ritual binding the living and the departed, weaving protection and safe passage for the loyal companions accompanying Jarl Eirik to the other world. Jarl Eirik's coffin, carved from rich pine and adorned with symbolic engravings, lies at the ship's center. Around him, horse and hound skeletons are placed fore and aft, positioned with reverence as cosmic guardians of the soul's passage. Hands worn from toil and grief arrange the bones with precision, their reverence evident in every movement. Flickering torchlight dances on carved shields and weaponry, casting long shadows over the assembly. The scent of fresh pine mingles with the warmth of flames, creating a sensory tapestry of honor, loss, and sacred duty. The guardians stand silent, poised to escort the chieftain into the eternal voyage beyond. If the rites call for cremation, torch crews ignite the pyre with practiced efficiency. Flames leap skyward, consuming wood, bone, and soul alike in a blaze of fire that roars into the night. The crackling inferno sends sparks scattering like embers across the darkened moor. Alternatively, earth is heaped over the ship, forming a barrow that seals the sacred vessel beneath layers of soil and stone. The scent of burning wood or fresh earth fills the air, each method marking a different but equally revered passage. In fire or earth, release and return intertwine a solemn farewell to a journey both ending and beginning. As the pyre's glow fades or the barrow stands solemnly, the clan gathers nearby. Warriors raise drinking horns filled with mead, faces etched with grief, resolve, and reverence. Low murmurs swell into solemn oaths, pledges of vengeance for wrongs and promises to uphold the lineage. The clink of horns punctuates the evening air, mingling with the murmur of shared sorrow. Around the fire, stories of the Jarl's deeds pass from lips to ears, stitching memory into the fabric of communal identity. This feast is more than mourning, it is a reaffirmation of life, honor, and the enduring bonds that tether the living to the dead. The steady rhythm of drums rises across the mist-shrouded moor, each beat a heartbeat for the clan's spirit. Close-ups capture hands beating skins with practiced precision, fingers moving in synchronized patterns. Figures sway gently in trance-like unison, their breaths sensing to the deep throb of the drumbeats. The whisper of wind through the grass adds a haunting undertone to the primal cadence. This ritual heartbeat binds the living to the ancestors, a sonic bridge spanning time and memory. The drumbeat is more than sound, it is the clan's lifeblood, a pulse carrying grief, hope, and unity into the night. As the final rites unfold, horses exhale their last breaths steady, solemn, and dignified. The mist curls gently from flared nostrils, marking their final moments with quiet grace. A mare's eyes close slowly as the cool air stills, a noble companion surrendering to fate. The soft huff of breath mingles with the ambient silence, a poignant reminder of the bond between rider and steed. This sacrifice honors Jarl Eirik's passage, a solemn tribute from noble beasts who journey together with their master, embodying loyalty and courage until the very end. Driffer, the faithful hound, releases a final plaintive whine-soft, lingering, full of unspoken sorrow. Her head rests gently against the earth, eyes slowly closing in quiet surrender. The gentle whimper echoes through the stillness, a heartfelt farewell that transcends words. In this intimate moment, the unbreakable bond between hound and master is laid bare, a testament to loyalty that death cannot sever. The calm that follows holds the weight of shared lives, a silent promise carried into the beyond. Freitas, the priestess, raises her hand, inscribing final runic symbols across the ship's wood. Each mark hisses softly as it touches the grain, curling upward in faint smoke. The sacred sigils shimmer in torchlight, weaving a protective veil around the burial vessel. The air fills with the scent of incense and ink, rising in curling tendrils to mingle with the night sky. This sealing ritual is both promise and shield, a sacred safeguard ensuring Jarl Eirik's safe passage. The moment is heavy with solemnity and hope, a final act binding the living to the departed. Above the freshly sealed barrow, ravens wheel in wide, deliberate circles, their dark wings silhouetted against a fading sunset. These birds, once guides in life, now serve as guardians in death, their roles reversed but eternal. The flap of feathers echoes softly through the moor, mingling with the whispers of mourners below. This symbolic flight embodies the eternal bond between human and animal, life and afterlife. As darkness settles, the ravens' silhouettes fade into night, a final testament to loyalty, transition, and the mysteries that bind existence. An eternal bond sealed in flight. For Vikings, the horse was far more than a means of transport. It was a totemic alter ego of the chieftain, embodying strength, status, and a spiritual partnership linking mortal and divine realms. Carved stone portals depict riders and their steeds locked in embrace, stepping beneath arches etched with glowing runes, symbolizing this profound bond. The warmth of leather reins and the rhythmic pounding of hooves echoed not just in the physical world but also in the chieftain's identity and power. Dr. Sigrid Themsen explains, the horse symbolized not just mobility but identity and spiritual partnership. These majestic animals served as extensions of their masters, guiding them across battlefields, through life's trials, and ultimately beyond death's veil. In this way, the horse was inseparable from the Viking leader's very essence. A living totem anchoring social and cosmic order, dogs held a unique role as guardians of the threshold between worlds, acting as loyal psychopomps, guiding souls safely through shadowed realms. Archaeological discoveries of dog skeletons positioned near graves suggest a deliberate protective watchfulness extending beyond life. The soft pad of paws across mossy forest floors and the low rumble of warning growls embodied vigilance and guardianship. These animals were more than companions. They were spiritual escorts, ensuring safe passage for their human kin. The emotional resonance of this bond runs deep, reflecting trust and loyalty not confined to mortality. As one expert notes, dogs carried a unique spiritual responsibility as loyal guides. Through their presence in burial rites, dogs symbolized the protective boundary that separated the living from the dead, a beacon of safety on the uncertain journey ahead. Wolves, fierce and enigmatic, occupied a liminal role as psychopomps leading souls across hell. River, the mysterious boundary between life and afterlife. Shadowy silhouettes of wolves crossing mist-shrouded waters evoke ancestral imagery etched on burial stones, underscoring their spiritual significance. The chill of night air and the gentle lapping of cold waters set an eerie yet sacred scene where transformation unfolds. These creatures embodied liminality and transition, bridging worlds both feared and revered. Their role as guides was integral to Viking cosmology, offering passage and protection in the journey beyond. One scholar explains, wolves bridged worlds, embodying liminality and transformation. The wolf's howl echoed as both warning and comforter call from the wild that reminded Vikings of the fragile boundary they would soon cross. Multi-animal burials were not casual acts but reserved for society's elite, symbolizing immense wealth, power, and divine favor woven into elaborate social displays. Richly furnished graves reveal multiple animals, horses, dogs, sometimes ravens interred alongside humans, their presence underscoring status and spiritual guardianship. Gold jewelry and intricately crafted artifacts glint amid bones, emphasizing the sacredness and prestige of these rites. The cold gleam of metal and the hush of reverent ceremony speak to a culture where social hierarchy extended into the afterlife. As an expert notes, such burials reinforced hierarchy and cosmic order. These interments served as both worldly and otherworldly statements, displays of earthly power and guarantees of protection and honor in the next realm, affirming a seamless link between status and spirituality. Ritual slaughter of beloved animals was a poignant act that eased communal grief by transforming loss into sacred sacrifice. Villagers gathered in solemn assembly as trusted herd mistresses performed the rites, blades flashing, blood flowing into ceremonial trenches carved deep into the earth. The metallic scent of fresh blood mingled with murmured prayers, creating an atmosphere heavy with reverence and sorrow. This act was more than physical, it provided psychological closure, allowing communities to channel their grief into a structured farewell. Dr. Thompson reflects, sacrifice was a communal catharsis, a ritualized farewell. The shared pain of letting go bound the living together, reaffirming social cohesion through collective mourning. This transformative ritual not only honored the animals' roles as companions and guardians, but also strengthened the fabric of the clan during times of profound loss. In death, the destinies of humans and animals intertwined profoundly, flesh and bone, bound by belief. Sharing a cosmic journey across the realms, animations reveal human and animal skeletons arranged intimately in graves, glowing softly to symbolize their inseparable kinship. The faint echo of a heartbeat and the warmth of remembered touch evoke a sense of enduring connection that transcends mortality. This shared destiny reinforced the idea that humans and their animal companions were bound not only in life but in the spiritual passage that followed. Emotional resonance permeates this belief, kinship beyond death, a promise of reunion and protection. As one scholar puts it, these bonds are testimony to a worldview where species boundaries blur and loyalty is eternal. Together, flesh and bone, chart a passage of unity woven into Viking cosmology and ritual. Animal kinship fulfilled vital psychological functions within Viking communities. Rituals surrounding the burial and sacrifice of animals reinforced individual and collective identity, alleviating existential fears tied to death. Villagers participated in elaborate ceremonies, their tear-streaked faces and reverent hands bearing witness to profound loss and shared hope. The hush of prayer and the gentle touch of fur provided tangible anchors amidst the uncertainty of mortality. Dr. Thompson explains, belief in animal companionship was key to social resilience. These rituals offered psychological stability, providing frameworks to process grief and maintain social cohesion. Through structured ritual, Vikings transformed fear into meaning and reaffirmed bonds that held communities together. Animal kinship was not simply symbolic, it was a lived experience, shaping mental landscapes and communal well-being. In both life and death, Vikings wove a profound tapestry where humans and animals journeyed side by side, inseparable by flesh, bone, and spirit. A panoramic vista unfolds over a Viking funeral mound beneath a starry sky, silhouetted riders and beasts fading softly into swirling mist. The rustle of leaves and the distant cries of ravens evoke an atmosphere thick with reverence and timeless kinship. This inseparability shaped Viking identity, social structure, and cosmology, anchoring beliefs in loyalty, protection, and continuity. Their worldview reveals a deep respect for animal companionship as integral to human existence. Such kinship reminds us how belief shapes identity, legacy, and the bonds that outlast time, testaments to a shared destiny that transcends mortality, weaving humans and animals into an eternal story of unity and honor. Beneath the earth, hidden beneath the mound's surface, lies an underground chamber, intimate sanctuary, where mortal remains and animal offerings rest side by side. Niches carved into stone walls cradle carefully placed bones, while faded murals depicting legendary beasts and gods breathe silent stories in the dim light. This subterranean sanctum is a threshold, a meeting place where flesh and spirit converge, and ancient rites bridge the divide between worlds. The damp chill of the earth presses gently against the skin, carrying the faint scent of mineral-rich pigments long preserved in these hallowed spaces. Every corner holds whispers of past ceremonies, a sacred hush imbued with reverence. Here, beneath the barrow, the tangible and the divine coalescent, eternal stage set for the soul's journey beyond. In Viking burial sites, orientation was never accidental. Horses' heads face east, greeting the first light of dawn, a potent symbol of rebirth and renewal. Dogs rest to the south, embodying the warmth and trials of life's journey. A digital compass overlays the gravesite, revealing deliberate alignment with cosmic rhythms. The warmth of dawn filters softly through rustling leaves as the ancient earth cradles these carefully placed remains. Professor Leif Gunnarsson explains, orientation was a deliberate cosmic alignment, guiding souls home. This compass of the cosmos acts as a spiritual map, ensuring that the departed follow a path aligned with celestial order. Through such precise placements, Vikings wove their beliefs into the very geography of death, crafting a sacred choreography between earth, sky, and soul. Encircling burial sites are rune-inscribed stones, meticulously carved to form spiritual barriers, rings designed to contain and guide restless souls. The rough texture of ancient chisels lingers in the stone's surface, while faint echoes of ritual chants ripple through the air. As the camera pulls back, the full circle emerges, a sacred perimeter of power. Neuroanthropologist Dr. Navin Patel notes, Rune circles functioned as mnemonic devices, anchoring belief across generations. These rings serve not merely as symbols, but as active anchors, binding the spiritual essence within the grave's boundaries. The fusion of rune magic and ritual geometry creates a dynamic field where spirits are both protected and directed. Through these sacred circles, Vikings wielded invisible forces, shaping the soul's passage with precision and reverence. Funerary rites echo with precise incantations, chanting the names of gods Freyr, guardian of fertility, and Odin, escort to the afterlife. The priestess's lips move slowly beneath flickering torchlight, weaving words into a rhythmic tapestry of sound. The murmur of ancient tongues blends with the crackle of burning herbs, crafting an ethereal bridge between worlds. Each phrase is a carefully ordered key, unlocking safe passage for souls and invoking divine favor. These incantations carry emotional weight words as both prayer and command, binding the living to the dead. The voices of the dead resound in these sequences, their echoes preserved in memory and spirit. Here, ritual language becomes a living conduit, a sacred dialogue spanning realms and generations. Buried animal remains were offerings not just to gods, but to the unseen spirits of land and soil. Excavations reveal bones, placed with deliberate care, honoring guardians of fertility and warding off desecration. Artistic renderings animate these spirits' ethereal forms, weaving through roots and earth, embodying the land's life force. The rich scent of soil mingles with the whispering wind through ancient trees, evoking a sacred ecology where every burial is an act of reciprocity. Professor Gunnarsson explains, burial was an act of reciprocity, honoring unseen guardians. Through these offerings, Vikings maintained a balance with nature, sustaining the very fertility that ensured their survival. Death became intertwined with life, a sacred cycle celebrated in bone and earth. Every bone's position within the grave was choreographed like a sacred dance, mapping the soul's journey and encoding mnemonic memory for the living. Overlays of scanned burial chambers reveal striking symmetrical patterns, horses and dogs, placed with measured precision, creating a spatial narrative of protection and passage. The soft scrape of soil accompanies deliberate hands arranging offerings, each movement purposeful and laden with meaning. Dr. Navan Patel emphasizes spatial order transformed chaos into sacred story. This choreography turns the grave into a living map, a ritual tableau that connects the departed, the mourners, and the cosmos. The dance of placement enshrines belief in physical form, shaping the journey from mortality to eternity with poetic grace. Rituals involving spatial patterns and repeated chants modulate group memory, deeply embedding belief within Viking consciousness. Split-screen visuals compare reenacted rites with brain scans, highlighting neural activity in memory and emotion centers. The rhythmic pulse of chants and the soft glow of firelight form sensory anchors, etching these ceremonies into collective mindsets. Dr. Patel explains, ritual was an ancestral neural hack shaping culture through memory and perception. These practices created psychological continuity, ensuring that knowledge and belief passed unbroken across generations. By engaging body and mind in orchestrated ritual, Vikings fortified their cultural identity and resilience. Rituals thus transcended mere performance. They were evolutionary tools sculpting the neural fabric of society itself. A slow pan through the reconstructed grave chamber reveals glowing rune circles, niches holding animal bones, and painted mythic scenes where flesh and spirit converge in eternal harmony. Digital animations weave carved runes, ethereal light, and swirling mythic imagery into a seamless tapestry. The whisper of ancient voices echoes softly, while the shimmer of spectral light bathes the scene in sacred mystery. This closing reflection honors the profound cosmos woven through Viking burial rituals, a world where death was not an end but a passage deeply anchored in belief, ritual, and kinship. These hidden mechanisms unveil a universe alive with spirit, where every bone's place and every incantation's word mattered. Here, flesh and spirit merge, guiding souls on their timeless journey through worlds seen and unseen. Today, horse ashes are interred beside riders' urns, a poignant echo of ancient Viking bonds forged through loyalty and companionship. These ceremonies unfold with quiet reverence, urns placed carefully beside tended graves, surrounded by floral tributes and soft whispers of remembrance. The rustle of grass in the gentle breeze blends with the crisp scent of incense rising skyward. Each gesture honors a lifelong partnership, a shared journey now transcending mortality. These modern rites mirror timeless human-animal connections, affirming that the loyalty and spirit once celebrated on Viking shores continue to shape how we grieve and remember today. The ritual, though evolved, remains a sacred space where memory and love endure. Rows of marble headstones stand amid blooming flowers, paw prints etched delicately into stone, a quiet sanctuary for beloved pets. Families gather, placing personalized markers and heartfelt mementos, creating intimate spaces of remembrance. The soft whisper of wind carries the scent of fresh blooms, weaving through the solemn grounds. Contrasted with the rune-carved stones of Viking times, these modern memorials reflect a shared human need to ritualize loss and honor enduring bonds. Dr. Emma Clark notes, memorials provide a tangible way to process grief and honor connection. These cemeteries are more than resting places. They are living archives of love, loss, and the profound companionship animals offer across generations. Across Europe, regimental horses receive solemn military honors, their graves marked with reverence alongside their human comrades. Funeral processions unfold with precision, soldiers in uniform saluting as wreaths are laid with measured care. The steady march of boots and the tolling of bells echo through the ceremony, underscoring a legacy of service and sacrifice shared between man and beast. These commemorations honor not just animals, but symbols of loyalty, strength, and endurance woven into history's fabric. Such rituals uphold respect for bonds forged in the crucible of conflict, preserving a living memory of partnership and mutual courage that transcends time. Therapy animals today serve as vital guides through trauma's shadows, a living continuation of Viking dogs who led souls beyond mortal realms. Veterans and trauma survivors find solace in these loyal companions whose presence calms and heals. Soft panting, gentle touches, and trusting gazes forge invisible bridges between pain and recovery. Sociologist Professor Navin Patel reflects, animals remain bridges between worlds of pain and healing. These modern psychopomps facilitate emotional journeys, embodying ancient roles in a new light. They offer more than comfort. They anchor resilience, transforming trauma into pathways toward wholeness. In ceremonial silence, falconry gloves are buried alongside birds, while equestrian epitaphs carved in stone sustain a ritual thread spanning centuries. The worn leather's texture speaks to intimate partnership, while distant falcon cries echo heritage and reverence. These symbolic burials ground loss in tangible artifacts, linking human and animal through ritualized remembrance. Each glove wrapped carefully, each epitaph etched with devotion, preserves a bond beyond death. Such rites sustain belief in continuity, reminding us that identity and memory are woven through symbols that transcend time. Animal burials are powerful rituals that frame human loss, provide structure to grief, and reaffirm enduring bonds. Families gather in quiet remembrance, their faces marked by sorrow and reverence. These moments offer tangible acts of closure and connection. Dr. Clark emphasizes, rituals are essential for processing grief and maintaining continuity. Through ceremony, loss is transformed into meaning, grief into a shared narrative. The act of burial honors the depth of companionship, weaving psychological healing with cultural tradition. These practices reveal ancient instincts alive in modern forms, sustaining human resilience across time. Beliefs in shared afterlives with animals persist globally, shaping rituals and communities as they did in Viking times. Across cultures, funerary practices involve animal symbolic gestures that affirm interconnectedness beyond death. Murmurs of prayer blend with rustling ceremonial fabrics, weaving communal memory and hope. Sociologist Professor Patel notes, these beliefs form cultural glue, connecting humans and animals beyond life. Whether in far-flung lands or modern cemeteries, the conviction that animal spirits accompany humans endures. This shared vision nurtures social cohesion, sustaining bonds that transcend species and mortality alike. From Viking barrows to modern cemeteries, one truth remains constant. In death, as in life, we honor our bonds and hope they endure beyond the veil. Twilight descends over quiet pet cemeteries, petals falling softly like memories, while distant ravens call across ancient burial mounds. The gentle hush of evening enfolds spaces sacred to loss and love. Animal companionship is timeless, a thread woven through humanity's story. Our stories, entwined with theirs, remind us that kinship transcends time, death, and form. In honoring these eternal bonds, we affirm that connection of flesh, spirit, and memories, the legacy that truly endures. A golden sunset bathes a Viking burial mound, ravens circling gracefully overhead. The glowing landfall feels timeless, a bridge between past and present. They buried wolves, horses, and hounds, not out of cruelty, but conviction, believing that companionship, guidance, and protection transcended mortal coils. These animals were more than beasts. They were sacred allies on the journey beyond. Phratis, the priestess, steps forward, her hands steady as she places a single raven feather atop the barrow, a final seal, marking passage and protection. Across centuries, a modern equestrian kneels at a horse memorial, laying flowers in quiet homage of that ancient bond persisting through time. Animal burials stand as the Vikings' ultimate testament that loyalty and kinship are eternal. Through their rites, they teach us that companionship is not limited to life, but endures beyond, woven into the very fabric of spirit and memory. Next time you pass a pet monument or equestrian shrine, remember, the bonds you honor are as ancient as the runes carved into those silent mounds. A pact of flesh and eternity, close up on a weathered horse tooth resting against mossy stone, a quiet symbol of enduring loyalty. A pact between mortal flesh and timeless spirit.